What is going on? What's going on, man? We back
What's
again,
up?
episode 5. Bigger podcast, sports
Hey,
podcast.
can't see me. Number 5.
And yep. And we about to be talking about, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got the NBA playoffs. We got some recent rule changes. We didn't get a chance to go over the draft last time, not the draft, but the schedule release last
Cool.
week. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just hop right into it. The first thing I wanted to talk about though was this rule change that the everybody was pretty much talking about today. Was they had the owners voted and they were 2 votes short of banning the tush push. I think we talked a little bit
Who?
about it. 2 votes short. They needed 2/3, which would
Oh,
have been 24 votes. They only got 22 out of 32, and yeah, man, they didn't. They were too short of pushing it through, but um. I don't know if it's going to be.
what,
What was
what,
that?
do you, what do you think about it? Like, do you want to see a ban? Yes or no? And then if, and then like, why?
Yeah.
Either
So
way.
so from the perspective of a Commanders fan, obviously I want as much advantage as possible. But in this particular situation, I don't think it should be banned. The only problem that I have is okay, they're pushing the ball carrier, Jalen Hurts. They have 2 people in the back that's pushing him from behind. I think the defense should be allowed to push their defensive lineman as well. If you're going to be able to push a player forward, the defensive lineman should be able to push a player as well. Right now, I don't know if the rules permit that. I know you can't do it on special teams. I know on special teams you can't push a player from behind. So if it's like a field goal kick, you can't push a player, a defensive player into the field goal line. But I'm not too. I'll have to double check, but I'm not too sure if that is the same thing on defense. If it is the same thing on defense, I think that needs to be changed. I think if you are able to push a offensive player forward, you should be able to push a defensive player backwards, if that makes sense. That's the only thing that I have, only problem that I have with it. I don't think it should be banned. I mean, everybody in the league has the same opportunity to run the play. And also, I also wanted to mention that if we do get this pushing the offense, pushing the player forward to get the first down or touchdown, then they say the defense could push a player backwards or forwards as well. It starts to look like rugby at some point. Now we get this mesh point of like players just pushing each other, and it's not. I don't really like the way it looked. Do I think it should be banned? No, but it's kind of like if I don't know how that would do for the league if we just get there every time it's a close distance, we just start seeing two pushing matches. Like I don't know if that's good for football, but as it stands now, I think this is the right move. I just want to be able to make it even for the offense as well as the defense. So we're talking about equity.
Mm-hmm. I
What
mean,
you think though?
I know we've talked about it before on here,
Yeah.
um, and like maybe come around to it a little bit more. Like I think it should be the
Right.
uh, whatever the defense can do or whatever the offense can do, the other side should be able to do it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's who can push or who can't, like it should be the same for both, and it should just be a thing of strength, right? Like which team can muscle their person over, um, just 1 or 2 yards. Like should like I that's what it should come down to, just pure strength and desire to push the ball, right? I love the
Mm-hmm.
play. I know, yeah, it could be seen as rugby or whatever, but I mean, that's the history of this game, right? Like they got aspects from a bunch of different sports and created football. So like that's just something that they kind of added to it. Um, so you see them add different things from other sports. This might just sure be one from rugby, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I still think this is a pretty badass team because I love a badass play. I love trench fight, right? You hear me talk about the trenches all the time. I was talking about trench players,
Mm-hmm.
and so this is just one of those where those people really get to shine. but it takes all of them, right? It's not always just a for sure you're gonna get it. So it's not a one hundred
I mean,
percent.
it's a high. It is like a 90 something percent chance, but it's not certain they're going to get it. Like you still have a chance to
Exactly. Like we saw the
stop it.
Bills. The Bills tried to do it in the playoffs and it failed, right?
Yeah,
So it cost that was a big point. So it still comes down to execution and all of that, and I like it. I like it. I'm grateful it didn't the ban or whatever it didn't pass because
yeah.
I don't want to see this play get taken away.
One thing I will mention that I thought was interesting is now the two teams that are by far the best at doing the tush push are the Eagles and the Bills, right? The Bills
Hmm.
are the second best team. I think they're close to around 90%
Yeah,
success rate as well. Um, but the weird thing is the Bills voted to ban the play. They were one of the 22 teams that voted to remove the tush push, and the other three teams in the Bills division, the Patriots, I think,
yeah,
the Dolphins, and forgot the other team, the Jets.
the
They
Jets.
voted to keep. They voted to keep the tush push. So
Hmm.
it's weird because the Bills have been very, very, very successful at it, and the teams that face the Bills two times a year are in favor of it, but the Bills are not in favor of it. So that's just kind of something weird. I thought that was kind of really, really crazy to think about. But I mean, it's here to stay. I mean, they're gonna let it go through the season. See
Yeah.
how it looks this season. They're probably going to take another vote on it if we still have this, if it has another outing like how the Commanders was jumping over the line. If we see that more this season, they're probably going to have another vote on it. But for as it stands right now, it's here to stay. So
Yes. Yeah.
you got anything else?
And breaking NFL news as of 38 minutes ago. Condolences to the Ursay family. Jim Ursay, the owner of the Colts, has passed away at the age of 65. And he has been the owner of the team since 1997. So, you
Wow.
know, uh, yeah, just
My
condolences to
condolences.
his
My
family.
condolences.
Hmm.
I wonder if
So,
he most likely wasn't at that meeting, but um speaking of the Colts though, I
mhm,
that's an interesting team. But I know we're getting off topic, but that's a very interesting team
that's fine.
because their quarterback situation is just very. That's something that I'm looking forward to see how that unfolds because that's kind of crazy over there. But like you
Yeah.
said, Jim Irsay, my condolences to him and his family over there. He was only 65 years old, so that's kind of young.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
So let's talk about the schedules.
the
You
schedule.
didn't get
All
a
right.
chance to look at the schedule.
So
You want to look at the Commanders first, or
yeah, let's hop into let's do the Commanders
okay?
real quick, and then we can do the Patriots because I know
But
that's the
so
two that
what I want you to do is I want you to look at the schedule, and you know I'll do my best to try to moderate. All right,
hmm
but just give me like go through it. Which one do you think are wins and which one do you think are losses, and to see where you think you end up at the end of the year.
So I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to get this to look the best way it possibly could.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna just leave it at this for now. But what I'm gonna do, I mean, so you said just go through the wins and losses of it real quick.
Yeah, like go through, yeah, like so the first game, right? You and the Giants, pretty interesting
All right.
game. Are you excited? Like, are you excited for
So
the
I'm
game?
a
Do you think it'll be easy? Will it be competitive? And then tell me if you think you'll win or lose.
so right now I would just say this off rip. I'm going to two games this season as of right now. I'm going to the season opener, the Giants game, and I'm going to the LA game, the Chargers game, right?
Okay.
With me being at that first game, I expect us to win. It's the Giants. We have the only thing that they're better at is their defense is dog. Their defense better than ours. Not gonna lie, but their offense is abysmally. worse. I think our defense is around middle of the pack. I think their defense is probably top 10, top 8 realistically on paper right now. We got to obviously wait till the season starts to really get a feel of how they're going to play, but right now I think they're top 10, top 8 on paper. And I think our defense is around 15th. Our offense, I think, is top 5, top 6 at worst, and their offense right now is probably bottom 5, right? So I expect us to win this first game, and I'm gonna try to be super realistic, but it's gonna be hard because we don't, we don't know until the season starts how these teams are
Of
gonna look.
course,
But
yeah.
first game, I got us winning. Do you want the score, or do you just want a win or loss
No,
record?
no, no, no. Just record.
All
We'll
right.
talk the score once we get into it. But
All
yeah.
right. Giants, I got us that's a win. So we start the season
Mm-hmm.
off 1-0. Falcons, we've beat the Falcons, I think 5 straight years, 4 or 5 straight years.
Actually,
I got us.
it'd be Green Bay. My bad. You got Green
Oh,
Bay
I'm
is week
I'm
2.
tripping. I'm going down. I'm supposed to be going right. Yes, Green Bay. This is a
Mhm.
weird one, man. This is a really weird one. I got us losing this one, man. It's away Thursday
Mm.
night. I got us losing this one. I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't mean that we can't beat them later in the season or in the playoffs, but I got us losing this one. So we start off 1-1. Raiders week 3 at 1 o'clock at home. I got us winning that one.
Okay.
Falcons, we've beat them the last 4 or 5 years. I got us winning that one. Chargers, I got us winning this one, man. I have us winning this one. And that is what, 3-1, 4-1.
4-1.
Yes, Bears. I hate this. I hate to do it, but I got us losing it. I got us losing it. Ben
Ooh.
Johnson, I think he's gonna have. It was a report that came out. Like this team is stacked. Like I don't think people realize how good the defense was last year. It was just the offense, and now they have a
Yeah.
offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing. And there was some news that came out earlier in the week. About like the coaches weren't even sitting with Caleb. Like Caleb had to watch film on his own. And that makes so much sense if that was the truth. Because he wasn't learning
Last
from
year.
week to week. Yeah, last season. Like he wasn't, it seemed like they wasn't showing him his mistakes and he wasn't learning from them. So
Yeah.
I got us losing to the Bears, unfortunately. Like I want us, I want to be realistic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we at 4-2 right now.
Repercussion.
We at four
Yeah.
and two.
Got you.
Um, Dallas comes around. I got us
Mm.
beating Dallas. I got
Mhm.
us beating Dallas. I think George Pickens going over there by week 5, week 6. I think he's starting to throw temper tantrums. He ain't getting the ball. I think we get Dallas. Kansas City comes. I think we
Mm.
lose to this is a hard one too, honestly. But I'm gonna say we lose to Kansas City. I'm gonna say we lose to Kansas City against my homies. Um, so right now we have 3 losses. Seahawks 8-20 at home. Got us winning that game. Lions come to town at 425. They try to get that revenge. I don't think they do. They lose their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. The brains behind all the operations. I say we beat the Lions. All right.
Okay.
Dolphins come international game. JD Cinco and Madrid. I got us beating the Dolphins. Then we got our bye week.
Okay.
Broncos come to town. Bo Nix, Jane Daniels, they battle it out 8:25 on Sunday Night Football. I got us beating the Broncos. um, Week 14 against the Vikings, JJ McCarthy. I got us beating JJ McCarthy. I got us sweeping the Giants. I got us. We're on a roll now. We won a few in a row. I know we're splitting with the Eagles for one. I don't know. I don't know. Just like we did last year, I don't know which one we lose. I'm gonna say we lose this first one to the Eagles, and I
Okay.
think we also split with the Cowboys. So I think we lose to the Cowboys, and I think we either win this last game against the Eagles, or we win the first game with the Eagles. I just don't know. But to round it out, we lose 5 games, but we win 12. So we go 12-5 again, just like last season, pretty much.
Okay.
So.
Wow.
What you
I
think? I
would.
mean,
Yeah.
what
I
was
would
the
agree.
what was
I
the
like it.
only game that you said do you think we would win or lose that you said that you don't agree with pretty much?
Hmm. Which one did I say? I think it was the Eagles because I didn't know how realistic you was gonna be with the Eagles because I know how you feel about them. But I could see you splitting them. Then the other one I guess would be the Vikings. Um, I mean it depends how JJ McCarthy looks. I mean if he's the guy
Kevin
that I
McConnell.
think he can be, and with Kevin McConnell, they still got Justin Jefferson. Like that whole
Yeah.
team stayed
Yeah,
together
that team is
pretty
still
much.
that team is still together pretty much. Yeah.
So
That's a I wouldn't be mad at that.
mhm, mhm.
The game that I really think is a toss up, for real is that Bears game because it's so hard. Like Caleb Williams can look like a top five quarterback next year, or he can look like a bottom five quarterback next year. It's so many different directions this can go.
Mhm.
But it's so hard to understand why he looked the way he did his rookie season, and it doesn't make sense why the coaching staff didn't really. Because when I looked at his film, it was like he wasn't learning week to week. He wasn't trusting what he was seeing. He wasn't setting his feet a lot of times. He would just because he's so used to making those off timing throws and those on the run passes like Patrick Mahomes. But most of the time, bro, you don't have to do all that, bro. Just set your feet and make the pass. That's it. And he wasn't
Who
doing that.
Caleb
So
Williams?
Caleb Williams, yeah,
Yeah, but that's
and
because the offensive line was Swiss cheese. I mean, look at the running game.
the
The
offensive
running game
line
was
wasn't the offensive line wasn't good. The running game wasn't
yeah.
good. But that doesn't excuse a lot of the times he did have time to pass and he didn't hit his target on point from what I've seen. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, if you're looking at that, like the line, did you watch the Lion games last season when they ran out of time at the end and they were in
Yeah.
field goal
Yeah.
range and they could have won the
Yeah.
game in field goal range, right? Or at
Yeah,
least
but that
tied
was
it
the
up.
coaching. I think we talked about that was coaching. That wasn't
Before they even got to the timeout,
yeah.
they were in field goal range. And he had DJ Moore running a slant or a crosser route, and he just missed it. He threw it at his feet. He didn't have no pressure. DJ Moore would at least he would have got it. Looked like he was going to score if he got the ball. He just didn't
Mhm.
set his feet, and there was no pressure, and he missed it. There was a few plays that I can like go in on Caleb Williams. I'm not going to do that to him, but it just doesn't make sense how. And this was later in the season. This wasn't like one of the first 4 or 5 games. It doesn't make sense how you look at Caleb Williams, how he looked at the beginning of
Mhm.
last season, and you look at this, he was doing some of the same stuff later in the season. I don't know if that's on Caleb or the coaching. I want to say it's on the coaching. I want to say it's mostly on the coaching. I'm gonna give Caleb the benefit of the doubt. He's a
I mean, if
rookie,
you're telling me
but
he was watching film by himself, I
yeah,
mean,
bro. But
that's
he was making the same mistakes over and over again. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. That's why I got us losing to them week 6
okay.
Monday Night Football. But yeah, that's
All right.
all.
Then yeah, no, I like your analysis of how you guys will end up. I think it's pretty solid. Yeah. All right, excuse me. So now it's us. Hey, the Pats, the brand new Pats. All
The
right,
brand new
man,
Pats.
I'm so excited for this season. Like this is the first off season as a Patriots fan that I'm legit excited about what we did in free agency and in the
Mm-hmm.
draft. Like we tend to do okay in the free agency. We don't do bad. Like we pick up, but like especially with the draft, like this is the first time I can remember in a long time. Like just like really excited to see how all these players turn out. And every day I'm reading something about Will Campbell that just makes me like, damn, okay, that's that's a
Mm-hmm.
dude. That's hopefully it pans out, right? Because again, we don't know, but I'm hoping for the best. So let me just kind of jump into it. Um, let's see where we start over there with the Raiders, week one.
Raiders.
I think this is going to be a great game for us to kind of test ourselves. I think the Raiders is one of those teams that's like they're the defense, right? It's going to be a
Right.
hard fought game. I don't know if they've done enough to solidify the offense. However, I do have mad respect for not only Geno Smith, but especially for Jacoby Myers, who's still the wide receiver on that team, former Patriot. Got mad respect for him. So, and with the addition of Gentry, that the offense could be somewhat threatening.
Yeah,
Um,
Genty.
Genty.
That's
So
another player that's like, sorry to cut you off, but that's another
no,
player
no,
that
go
like can
ahead.
be really good or really bad because it depends on how his O line looks. It depends on how he translates to the NFL. Now, I think his talent translates to NFL superbly. Like I think he's going to, as a running back, he's going to be really good. But it depends on if your O line is good. So
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's just I don't know. I think
and I
the
don't.
Raiders
Did
have a
they make
solid O
moves?
line.
Did they make moves on the
Um,
line this
I
offseason? I
can't
don't remember.
remember. I don't really know too much about the Raiders, but I know they had a few players on there who were some dogs on that O line.
Oh
We
yeah.
just gotta wait and see what the season looks like, honestly. But
Um, I'm gonna go with. I think we are going to. I think we will win that one.
you
I
should
think I'm
yeah.
gonna go with the win on that one. Yeah. Um. Then against the Dolphins, I think we can beat the Dolphins. I'm not scared of the Dolphins this season just because they've lost so much. May
Hmm.
even more with Jalen Ramsey. That defense has been nuked. The offense, I mean, the only thing they really got is on offense. Achan, Hill, and Waddle. But we'll see. I mean, Tua's still there. Um, Johnu Smith, I believe, is still there. So the offense could be good, but the defense has been hit hard. So I think we'll be
Yeah.
able to exploit that.
Okay.
Um, then against the Steelers, oh man, I think we will lose this one. I think we're gonna lose this one.
They don't have a quarterback yet. I mean,
I know, but just Mike Tomlin. Oh man,
yeah.
I don't like to bet against, and you know how hard it is for me to give Steeler fans any kind of props. But I will say with a caveat, if TJ Watt plays, because they still have not signed him,
All right.
he's or at least like renew his contract or whatever. So if he decides to hold out, or I don't know what the case may be, if he's not there or not playing, then I think we'll win. But if TJ Watt's playing, then the Steelers will win. It all depends on TJ.
Quick question.
Uh,
It looks like you guys play the AFC North this season,
yeah,
and also the it looks like the what is that Falcons, the NFC South because you play the Falcons, the Panthers, the
yeah,
Buccaneers,
and the Saints.
and the Saints. Yeah, so you play the AFC North and the NFC South. Okay, so those are really well. The NFC South isn't really that good.
I know.
Saints, Panthers, Buccaneers, Falcons. The AFC North shouldn't be that good either with the Browns. The Bengals defense should be
Mm,
food. The Bengals defense should be food, and the Steelers offense should be food as well. So we'll see what it looks like. But the AFC North is, I will say, the AFC North is usually really good year in and year out without all the talent. But this
mhm.
could be a breakout season for Drake May. But I'm sorry, continue.
No, you're
My bad.
right. Then we got the Panthers, right? The South, AFC South.
Okay,
I think we got them. I'm
really?
not worried. Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on now. I ain't worried about the Panthers. What have they done besides get a wide receiver?
Their quarterback started to look good at the end of the season. They almost beat they were a drop catch away from beating the Eagles. Xavier
Yeah,
Leggett dropped the catch. He's the quarterback started to look really good at the end of the season, but I will say the Patriots as a team overall should be better than the Panthers. I just don't know who's going to have a better. Is Drake May going to take that next step, or is I can't remember the Panthers quarterback name, Bryce Young. It was Bryce Young going to take the next step in his third season. So
yeah.
I agree though. I got y'all over the Panthers though.
And low key, like that game is one of those games that I mean, um, I do see us uh, maybe like losing. You know how you lose to a team that you're not supposed to or whatever. Like
Hmm.
I could see it, but I'm just gonna go with pure belief. Um, So Phil Perry said kind of the same thing, and he made me like, and I know that happens to us. So I could see that being a sneak, but I'm gonna believe that we'll beat them. The Bills, we're gonna lose that one. I okay, I know that we'll lose that one. The Saints,
the Bills were picked. The Bills are favored in every game this season. By the way, they're favored.
as
They're
they should
favored to go 17-0,
be. Yeah.
even against the Chiefs.
Oh,
Well, Josh Allen usually beats the Chiefs in the regular season every year,
true,
and then he
true.
loses to them in the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if they play the Ravens this year though, but they're favored in
Uh,
all their games.
we can look here in a sec. Next one, the Saints.
Hmm.
We definitely winning that one. Tennessee Titans. We're gonna win that one. All right, Vrabel's gonna make sure we win. I mean, I'm not afraid of the Titans. And then the Browns. This is one that I could see us losing. I could see us
Really?
losing. I could see us losing to the Browns. Yes,
Why?
it has
I'm
happened
interested.
before. The defense, Miles Garrett. I just got so much respect for him for the way he disrupts the game. Um, and I think by then they're gonna kind of figure out what to do with the quarterback because I'll be what
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think that's gonna be either one of those moments where they have figured out who the quarterback is and they're letting them play, or it'll be one of those games where they bring in the new quarterback and they get kind of like that new quarterback bump. So I don't know. Just something tells me that we're gonna lose to the Browns. Like the Browns or the Panthers, one of those teams that we should win. We're just gonna lose
Yeah.
to one of them. So this one I'm gonna go with the Browns. I think we'll beat Atlanta. Right? I think
Hmm.
we'll beat them. We're gonna lose to the Bucks. We will lose to the Bucks. The Jets. I think we will beat the Jets. This first time we will beat the Jets. The Bengals. Mm, uh, this is just one it's a toss up. It's definitely a toss up. Uh, it's just can we outscore them? Um, and to be honest, I don't know because I mean, again, I haven't seen this offense. I just don't know if we could outscore them. Uh, so for that reason, I'm gonna give it to the Bengals because I'm trying to be realistic.
Okay.
Uh, and
That's
then
that's that's realistic.
we'll beat the Giants. I agree with you. The Giants are not. They done some good things. I don't believe in Jackson Dart, but we'll see
Yeah.
how that turns out. Then we got the bye week. The Bills, we're gonna lose there. The Ravens, we're gonna lose there. Um, and then low key, I think we will lose to the Jets. As much as I hate to say it, I think we will lose to the Jets, and then we will beat the Dolphins. Um, so and then yeah, that's it.
So what's
So
your
that
what's the record?
that leaves us with a 9-8 record.
Hmm. I would say around 9-8. I'm surprised you say 9-8. But I was gonna say around the same thing.
Mhm.
But you're in the division with the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if you make the playoffs with a 9-8 record because the AFC is so tough. I think
yeah.
it's a possibility that you can get second in your division with the 9-8 record. I just don't know if you make the playoffs with the 9-8 record.
And again,
Um,
I don't expect us to make playoffs, but I do want us to improve from the four and whatever. uh, get
yeah.
more than four wins.
This is the interesting thing about your schedule that I see. There's only a few like definite losses. Like if you want to say because even though you have a good chance of winning those two games against the Bills, that's still a far and better way team, right? So let's just say you lose those two games because that's a far and
Okay.
way better team. Let's say you lose against the Ravens. That's the
Mhm.
far and away better team. Outside of those three games, okay, let's just add in the Buccaneers and the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Outside of those five games, you guys have a fighting chance in all the rest of the games. So
I agree.
realistically speaking, you can technically go 11. I can see a pathway where you can go 11-5 because the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, the Jets, the Giants, those are all teams that you guys can beat. Those are all
I
teams that
know.
didn't make the playoffs out last year outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers also don't have a QB right now, and they also lost their number one wide receiver. So it's
Yeah.
like you guys definitely it's I feel like the ceiling is 11-5. The
Mhm.
floor might be like 8-9. But either
Mhm.
way, that's still even if the floor is 8-9, that's still an improvement from last season. So
But like that's one thing. Like there were two things from that. One, I was hella happy when the schedule dropped and I saw
yeah.
this. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna be able to get some wins.
This
I
is
can
a
actually
manageable schedule. Yeah.
watch the games. But I will say this: what worries me is, let's just say, for shits and giggles, uh, let's say we end up somehow 11 and what is it, 11-5, right?
Yeah.
We still lost to the definite teams. So we'll just make it to the playoffs and then or to the wild card, whatever the case may be, and then we'll get knocked out. And so it's like,
But this is
okay, we
but
improved the team and we're in the right direction. It's gonna come down to what do we need to add to make us one of those contenders against those like for sure teams.
yeah. But this is the thing that I don't know if you are, but you might be underestimating, right? The importance of getting a young QB playoff experience.
Hmm.
If you can get Drake May playoff experience on his rookie contract, that will do wonders for his mental and wonders for okay, if he has a good season and he goes to the playoffs, even if he gets blown out, he will be able to take that intensity, understand like, okay, this is the change from regular season. This is how I need to play. This is how teams are going to be playing against me. And then going into his third season, he knows what to expect. But if you go through his whole rookie contract and he's good enough to sign another contract, but he doesn't get any playoff experience, that's not where you want to be at. You know what I'm saying? So I see what you're saying. Like, what's the point of going to the playoffs even if you get blown out? If you gotta, let's say you go to
Yeah.
the playoffs and you gotta play the Bills in the first round. Like, that's kind of crazy, right? But
Yeah,
it's he needs you need that type of experience as growth. So
because
but
people
yeah,
are gonna say, they're gonna say, what teams have the Patriots played, or they lost to all the good teams. Like I
bro.
know that would come out, but again, it's
But
just about improving. We're on the right
but
track,
right.
you know.
But the people who say that are people who don't watch football. This is a team that won 4 games last season. Y'all won 4 games last season, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to get a 4 game schedule next season. That's how it works. That's how the Commanders got went such an easy schedule last season because we won 4 games. That's how it
Mhm.
works, right? So obviously, if you can come out and beat the teams you're supposed to beat, that's what you're supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
technically, the Bills are supposed to go 17-0 because they're favored to win every game. Are they going to go 17-0? No, right? So does that mean that this is failure season? No, they can go 12-5 and still have a great season, even though they were favored in all 5 games. So that's the whole point. I feel like people who say that like you haven't won any haven't won against like winning record teams. Those people who don't watch the sport or don't really understand like how this stuff works. But to
And
each his
plus,
own.
like, there's something to it. Like in the lot, like what I'm gonna be watching is like those losses, right? The for sure losses. I'm gonna watch how did we lose? Did we
Yeah,
just get our ass kicked and it was freaking 21-0 by the second half or whatever, and all of that, like, dang. But if we lose and it's like a close, like, hey, maybe just by the differential of a touchdown or a field goal,
yeah,
I'm a be ecstatic about that, right? Like I'll be out. That's an easier pill to swallow than getting blown out. So like even in the losses, I think there's stuff to be learned and all of that. And again, like I'm just so excited to see how Coach Vrabel is going to handle this. I don't know, like if you've been paying attention to your teams, like OTAs and stuff.
Yeah.
But the way Raves has, the way they've been reporting on how hands-on Raves is doing, how he's actually like putting pads on there on him and like
Vrabel's a
what,
good coach. Vrabel's a really good coach. I mean, he took Ryan
man,
Tannehill. They were the number one seed with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, grant they
yeah,
had
Derrick Henry,
uh Derrick Henry, but still Ryan Tannehill. Like, come on, where else has he played other than the Titans, Tennessee? So I mean, Vrabel has proven that he can be a really good coach. So
yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting year, man. Y'all had a lot of additions to the defense and the offense. I feel like this team is it's a quarterback's league, man. So
yeah,
will it be enough? Will it be enough for Drake May?
I agree.
Again, we're not asking Drake May to do world beat. We just want to see him improve.
Yeah,
Can he crack top 15 quarterbacks in the league, or can he crack top 18 quarterbacks in the league? Like, can he have a few game winning drives, or can he come up clutch when the team needs him a few times this season? That's all we're asking. Like, um, can he make the plays that need to be made late in the game? Now he did it. I've seen him. I've seen him be accurate in games last season. But now that
yeah,
he has he has the extra help that the O line should be better, right? The wide receiver room should be a little bit better. You guys
yeah.
got Travion Henderson now, a speedster to go. He's not a speedster, but he's faster than Ramondre Stevenson, who's like the bell cow running back, right? So, and you
Mm-hmm.
guys still got Christian Gonzalez over there on the defense. You brought in, a defensive lineman. So you
Carson
guys are
Davis,
better on paper.
Tyler
It's
Duggar.
just going to be interesting to see, and I think he will. I think Drake May. This is what I think about. So before I say this, I think the same thing about Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is an elite game manager with
Mm-hmm.
a elite clutch gene. That's what I think about Jane Daniels. He's not a
Mm-hmm.
quarterback who's going to just throw like all these crazy passes back to back, fit the ball like, and he can do it, but he's going to play on time. He's going to get the
Mm-hmm.
ball out quickly. He's going to make the right read. He's going to play within the offense first. Those are all traits that you want from your quarterback. Those are traits for you. You want a good game manager from a
Yeah,
NFL quarterback first, and I see that in Drake May. With Jaden Daniels, what I also see is that when you need him to make those off-timing plays, when it's not there, he can do it too. He can do it late in the ball game. He can be clutch and he can lead you to, a game-winning play or whatever it is. I have yet to see that from Drake May. Now that he's only a rookie and he doesn't have the talent. He didn't have any wide receivers last year, right? So
yeah.
that's the step that I want to see from Drake May. I feel like he can already be a great game manager. But can he make those clutch plays when the play breaks down? Can he buy some more time consistently? Can he come up clutch when the team needs to drive to go get a field goal, go get a touchdown? That's what I want to see from Drake May.
It's gonna, and that's the thing. Like, can he do that? But I think a lot of that also has to deal with how he gets along with, or more importantly, how McDaniel's gets
Mm-hmm.
along and sets him up for success. Because for you guys, I think your secret sauce or weapon on over there is Kingsbury. I
Yeah,
mean,
facts.
he knew he's a great offensive coordinator that understands how to help and put a young quarterback with incredible skills and attributes into positions for him to succeed. So
Yeah.
that was not happening under the Van Pelt offense of last year. Uh, it just was not. And so this year, with Josh McDaniels, a seasoned vet, a championship, expertise. He's been out of the game for a year. He was watching a lot of college football and working with a lot of college teams. What has he been able to soak up? And again, like I don't think he's gonna look for a head coaching job because he's tried it twice, hasn't worked out both times. I think he wants to just be an offensive coordinator for now. Um,
He's
so
probably leaving. We probably have. He's already stated that. Kingsbury already stated that he wants to be a head coach again at some point.
okay,
But he's probably leaving after this season.
Okay.
I expect him to be really good. But Lincoln's on here. He pretty much said, I mean, it doesn't always pan out like that. Look at the Browns schedule, and they were fourth in the division. So the Browns didn't have
Mm.
a good schedule as well. But the Browns also don't have a QB or who was their QB last year, Deshaun Watson.
What
I
does he mean
mean,
it doesn't always pan out? I wonder
I
what.
think he was talking about your schedule when this was 5 minutes ago. I think
No,
he was
okay.
talking about the schedule. When I said it's a possibility you guys can go 11-5 is what I'm expect. I assume he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he also
Texas.
said we
Oh,
just got matched up with the NFC North, which is a tough division. But this is the thing:
mm,
how tough? Well, I do expect the NFC North to be tough, but
yeah.
the Lions they lost both their coordinators.
Mhm.
But they should be healthy on the defense, right? The Vikings, we don't really know what to expect from JJ McCarthy. I mean, we expect them to be good, right? But we don't know yet. We don't know. We expect the Bears to be better with Ben Johnson over there, but again, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Um, who else is over there? The Packers. The only team, like the Packers, I think will be really good regardless of anything else. But from the other three teams, we don't know if they're going to take a step back or a step forward next year. So that's the NFL though, man. Like
Yeah,
it's a year to year league. They could be that could be the winner of that conference can be like 10-6 this season or something. You never know, is what I'm saying.
I would. I mean, yeah. You never know. There's always that you know that chance of, like, we just don't know. But
Yeah,
I would say in the defense of those teams, I think they still have the consistency or the foundation of the solid players, right? They didn't really lose anyone that was vital to that team.
right.
They kept all the pillars, right? They kept people that are going to keep that culture, and more importantly, the head coach is there, right? Kevin O'Connell's there. He signed, right? You got Dan Campbell. He's solidified there. So I mean, and those are culture coaches, right? They're not just going to bring some person in
Right.
that that they don't believe can continue what they want or what they envision.
But
So
this is my whole point. Yeah, we expect the Bears to be great, but you I gotta see it from you. I gotta see it from Caleb for me to go all in. Be like, okay, the
yeah.
Bears will be much better. JJ McCarthy, I have to. We expect the Vikings to be still really good, but I gotta see it. That's my whole thing.
Mhm.
I've seen it from the Packers. I've seen the Packers be good. I've seen the Packers win a playoff game. I kind of know what I'm getting from Jordan Love. Um, I don't really know what I'm getting from Jared Goff only because I've seen him play well and when he was with the Rams, but
Mhm.
losing losing Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator might speak a lot. I don't know how they're going to look. You're also losing the defensive coordinator. Now we're in a position where, and I think the Lions head coach is really good, but now we're in a position where he's really, like he doesn't have a chance to lean on his two coordinators who are really really good at calling plays. Now we're going to be able to see what Dan Campbell can do as a head coach. And these I don't know who their offensive coordinator is or their defensive coordinators. I assume they're first year coordinators that are coming in for the Lions. But now we're going to see more of what Dan coach. If the Lions are still really good, then I think that solidifies Dan coaches like literally top three, top two. Like if the Lions go out and win 12 games or 11 games and they win a playoff game or two playoff games, I think that solidifies Dan Campbell as like top three coaches in the league at bare minimum because he was able to still do it with losing his coordinators, his two very good coordinators who left for head coaching jobs in the same season. While not having a generational talent at quarterback, because Jared Goff isn't a generational talent. I've always thought he was a product of the system he was in. But if he comes out and still plays and they still calling good plays and they're still winning against higher level competition, I think Dan Campbell should get all the credit there. But it remains to be seen. I still want to see if the Lions have done it, but I want to see if they can do it without Ben Johnson. And without that defensive coordinator that they had there, they both been there for a few years, and they were along the ride of the Lions coming from those 5-win years, then them 8-win years, and then to the 12-win years. I want to see if they can do it without those coordinators, because Ben Johnson was the brains of that offense. He ran the offense. You know, I want to see if
Well,
they
he
can still
ran the
be
offense,
effective.
but he still like Dan Campbell still had like
Final
he didn't
say,
come off as like he still had a final say and was probably still like, okay, what's the
yeah,
game plan, or this is what I want to see. And again, like I agree, until we see, this is all just speculation,
right,
but I think it's an easier to place to manage when you have a solid head coach, instead of where sometimes what you see with some of these teams is that like it's a first year head coach and a first year offensive coordinator or offensive defensive coordinator, and they're still trying to kind of figure out what's the culture they want to bring. And
right.
and again, like all the coordinators, they're constantly thinking of moving, right? This might just be a stepping stone to go somewhere later. So, but if you can have the head coach position, like, and you believe in that person has shown, like, has built a culture like Dan Campbell, like Kevin O'Connell, where I mean, I don't know
Well,
who the
Kevin
offensive
O'Connell,
coordinator.
I think Kevin O'Connell is also the OC over there for the Vikings as well. So
Okay, so
that's a little bit.
and
That's the
he's
only
done it with
reason
a
why.
whole bunch of different quarterbacks, and
Yeah,
they put out of the Rodgers lottery because they have stated that they love what they have seen from JJ McCarthy so much that they believe in him, right? So I mean, yeah, I mean,
one thing I want to say. This is a little bit off topic, but one thing I want to mention is that Kevin O'Connell, Sean
yeah,
McVay, Kyle
yeah,
Shanahan,
we're
the
all at the
Packers head
end of
coach,
yeah,
they were all on that staff in like 2012,
RG
2013,
three.
and we didn't keep any of them. We didn't keep not one. We went through hell for 10 straight years, and we had top 10 caliber. The Dolphins had coaches on that staff. We had
Yeah,
offensive minds
McDaniels.
on our coaching staff, and we didn't promote not one to head coach. Not one. Sean McVay was an offensive coordinator, but he left.
Who promotes it? Is it GM or the owner?
The GM, the general manager usually makes the hires. It depends on from team to team. Some owners have
Okay.
more hearsay than other teams do, but typically the GM makes the hires. Unless you're the Bengals, who don't have a GM, they have a player personnel person. I think the owner pretty much just makes all the
Yeah.
decisions. But yeah, like they had all those people on the staff, and we didn't. None of them made it to the head coach position. I don't know. I don't understand how. And we were switching coaches out.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys had Snyder as your owner.
yeah, Snyder,
I
bro.
mean,
That's
the
the
stuff
worst.
that was going on in your guys' team under his tutelage, it's
Man,
the that like I could not believe what I was hearing when they were reading the report, like all this stuff. I was like, what? Like
yeah,
what?
man.
It was crazy. But
I-
but hey,
so- yeah,
look what having a good owner, having from top to bottom, right?
yeah.
You guys got a new
It,
ownership, and you guys are successful. You guys are showing success right now.
that's all it needs.
Did you watch any of the schedule releases?
I did, man. I watched some of them. The what was the funniest
Dude.
one? It was was it the tight? Whose was the funny one? The Colts when they did the Tyree. They had to take it down. I forgot which team it was. I think it
You
was
think
the
they should have taken that down? You think they should have taken it down, or is it?
yeah, yeah. It was kind of crazy. I was reading somewhere. They were like it had to have been like an intern who was like this was their last day, and they was like, "Fuck it, I'm about to release this as the." They went in on every team, bro. It was
They
funny. They
did.
had
They
Tyreek getting
did.
arrested. They had Josh Allen walking out of the movie theater
Yeah.
because after going to see the movie with his because his girlfriend and stuff like that. Like that
Mhm.
was they was
Patty
going. I
Thompson.
forgot what team it was. Was it the Colts or was it what team was
Uh,
that?
they
The
also
Titans.
messed with the Titans. Yeah,
The Titans.
with Will Levis. I think Mayo. Some
Mhm.
like with No,
Dog,
the
that shit
codes
was
was
hilarious.
the codes definitely was up there. I also did like the Minecraft one from the Chargers.
Yeah, the
That
Chargers
was
usually have a really good one every season. That
so
was that
so
was
good.
cool.
Yeah. And then the last one that stood out to me was the Titans, where they did the TikTok thing where they had, or interview people and had them guessing what the team's name was based off of the logo. And so
Mm,
that one was it was pretty entertaining.
yeah.
Um, so mm-hmm.
The Commanders was
All right.
underwhelming. I was watching that one, and it was just like it was like a theme park. Each ride was a different team that we played. It was kind of like it
Mm-hmm,
was all right.
mm-hmm.
I kind of expected more.
Um,
Didn't work out like that.
just an update on the current basketball game. It is halftime. Indiana is 62 and New
Speaking
York
of
is
basketball,
69. Want to talk about yesterday's game?
yes, sir. Let's go
Uh,
ahead and discuss the game yesterday. Well, first,
mm-hmm,
let's go ahead and congratulate Shy or Shay. Can't remember how he pronounces it. He
mm-hmm,
won MVP. His what was his totals? 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds.
mm-hmm.
Number one seed by far in the league, had the best record. I know they like to call him a free throw merchant, but it is a skill to go to the line and draw fouls. I mean, all the greats do it. And even without the fouls, he still led the league in points. So there's that. But one thing that I did mention is the gap between him and Jokic was kind of crazy. I think he had 40 more first place votes than Jokic. I didn't expect that. I expected to be like within at least 10 to 15 range at the least, but I did expect Gilgis Alexander to win. I just didn't expect him to win by 40 first place votes. That was kind of crazy.
Well, I
Um,
mean, that's just a case of they were, voters were
Voter
tired. Not, I don't,
fatigue. Yep, we seen it.
yeah.
We seen it with LeBron and other players. Yep, voter
Mhm.
fatigue. That's a real thing, and I think that's what happened here. I do think Shaw deserved to win it, but I think it was much closer, and I think that, like you said, voter fatigue played in probably why the gap was so large.
Mhm, mhm. Now, I do want to say this, for what it's worth, the fact that they were able to hold Anthony Edwards to 18 points. I know he tweaked his ankle, left for the game, came back,
Hmm.
and then Julius Randle did go off. Like Randle went off, he went off for
Yeah,
28 points. Um,
he was
but the
balling early in the game too. He was hooping.
I mean, yeah, and then like that's the Randall you want to see. Now, I've said it before. I've said it to my coworkers. In order for this Minnesota team to have any chance, Randall has to be going off right,
Yeah,
25 plus points. But Anthony Edwards, he has to score like he needs to score about 30 points or at least like 25 and more. And then
mm,
obviously the bench, right? Rudy Gobert, 2 points. What
yeah.
is right? And then the
What is
bench
life,
that
right?
kind of down was DiVincenzo, only 9 points. Dude shot three for from the 3 point. He shot three. He went 3 for 12. Um, if he's making more of those, then I think it's closer. Nas Reed, 0 for 7, right?
Yeah, that's the thing with the I'm sorry to cut you off, but the,
Mhm.
get to your point. For the Timberwolves to win this series, they're going to have to hit their shots. They
Yeah,
haven't been hitting their shots all playoffs, but they were hitting them leading into the playoffs, which is very strange. They were one of the more efficient teams coming into the playoffs, but since they got in the playoffs, they haven't been able to hit the three at a consistent rate. And for you
yeah.
to beat the Thunder,
You
there's
have to
two
hit.
things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to hit your threes, and you're going to have to limit the turnovers. And they did not do that first game.
Yeah.
And the Thunder started off slow. They started off slow that first quarter.
You still there? Yeah. Um, Mm-mm. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I mean, we shall see. Uh, it's just kind of interesting, right? Um, because it's just a thing of can they hit, right? Can they hit those threes? And then they turn the ball over. I'm trying to find that, but also someone else that didn't perform the best, who I thought was going to perform better. Um, Alexander Walker went for 2 for 9. So right there, the best bench players 0 for 7 from three, 3 for 12, and 2 for 9. They can't be doing that, right? You can't shoot like that for three and expect not, and expect you to win. They gotta make those shots. Now it's the first game. They've been off for a while, right? Minnesota had 19 turnovers. You gotta limit the turnovers with OKC because that is their bread and butter. Um, they thrive for that, right? That's what they want. They want you to turn the ball over. They have that young young man's defense capability out there. So they just dominated, right? One they came to play. I was a little worried, them coming off of such a long series against such a tough opponent that maybe they'd be a little fatigued. But hey, when you're young, right? I remember when I was younger, run it back, run it back. Man, I'm tired. But there's another team that wants the business, run it back, right? And so I just don't maybe the Wolves got a little rusty, right? So this game two for them is going to be really interesting to see how they answer, and I think that ankle. I hope not. I hope not, but I think that's something to watch for because Anthony Edwards did injure it or aggravated it in the last series. Here we go again, where it's been aggravated. Um, so it might be something to watch out for and to kind of see what happens there. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see, chat. We're gonna have to see, people, what's going on there. The game is going right now. Again, update on the Indiana Knicks game, 64-71. The Knicks are up. While I am waiting, uh, I hope Indiana wins that one. I hope Indiana wins that one. I really like Indiana. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. These game ones, I I I don't think people should freak out about what happens. I think game two is where we kind of see what adjustments are made, if any are made, because we saw in the Boston series, right? They lost, and it's because they weren't making their shots. But the coach over there, hey, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep shooting, and you either live by the three or die by the three. I mean, that's the new NBA now. So Minnesota's probably going to tell them, "Hey, keep shooting the shots," and they just gotta make it, right? Uh, so we'll see. And then this Pacers Knicks game, it's nice to see the Knicks in the playoffs. And it's nice to see the Pacers in the playoffs. This is it's a game that has a lot of rich history in it, right? Uh, and I think both sides are pretty evenly matched. It's going to be a matter of who wants it more, right? I was watching a little bit of it before we got on, and I know a lot of people talk about Halliburton, but someone that they should not, you know, forget to mention is Myers Turner from the Pacers team. I think that dude's a dog since Paul George played over there, right? I've always had mad respect for Turner. You've heard me say it on here before and everything, and all of that. Um. So yeah. So we'll see. These playoffs are heating up. They're heating up, and it's very interesting to see that uh, all four teams. our young people, young generation, the new generation. Right? There's no one from the old regime, at least from like the LeBron and Curry era. So someone that whoever wins it this year is going to be the first time. So I think we've officially made that crossover to see who it will be. As I'm waiting for my co-host to come back, um, I'm gonna switch over a little bit just to I like to highlight other sports, and so I don't know if many people out there know, but there is a World Cup that is coming out. That is a soccer World Cup for the clubs, and so I think that's going to be something that's fun, but also um, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I hope that the clubs, the smaller clubs, get more money of it, and maybe this will entice some of the better players to go to those teams. But as of now, it's going to be kind of a beat down, and I feel like it's just going to be end up like another the teams that play in the Champion League will probably those teams will probably end up winning it. Right, it'll be a team from Europe for sure winning it, but it'll be interesting to see. Right, my one of my teams, Boca Juniors from Argentina, they're going up against Bayern Munich. So that's it can either go very bad or hopefully it's a close game, and yeah, and we'll see what happens there. Um, let's see, and so yeah, we'll see what goes on there. Talking about, I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but to go back to basketball in case when Zell comes back. Man, this off season, I'm interested to see what my team, the Clippers, are going to do. We got some things we need to think of. Uh, I know Giannis is out there for free agent. I hope we can get him, but I don't know what will happen. Um, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there with Giannis. Uh, I really like. I I'm going to say something that's going to be a little crazy. I think the Clippers should blow it up. We've tried this team. I'm on the I'm on the side that I think it's time to trade Kawhi, see what we can get for him. If we can't get something that's uh, worthy of it, or something that's like I feel we're going to lose no matter what on that. So at least try to get a high draft pick, um, or do something with that. Trade Kawhi, trade Zubac. I think Zubac is a great asset, a trade chip that we could use to maybe attract or get a good trade in, and James Harden. I have man, because I don't want to talk. I don't want to be disrespectful when talking about a player, but James Harden is just not the guy that I I would want on my team. Like, because I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're ready to have James Harden. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about, but yeah, I've been having issues with my computer, but we back with it.
Okay. I riffed for a little bit. I talked about
It's
the
all good.
Pacers, all that. Then I talked some soccer. Found my opportunity to talk a little soccer. And then I was just talking about what the Clippers should do in the offseason. Like I said that Kawhi, we should probably trade Kawhi. We should blow up the team, trade Zubac, and get rid of James Harden. Because I don't think we're in a position to have him. Like he should go to a team where he can compete, and I don't see us competing.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up real quick. So, um, real quick thoughts on the Thunder and Timberwolves series. Who do you got winning?
So I've always felt like I didn't like when people that were on on TV or whatever, when they kind of flip flop and they don't stick. So I'm gonna stick with my team. I'm gonna stick with the team I picked originally, the Wolves. They're gonna show me like what I said when I was riffing. Um, they're either gonna make adjustments or they're gonna do kind of what Boston did, and they're either gonna live by the three or die by it.
Mhm.
So for me, it's if Nas Reed, DiVincenzo, and Walker, if they can hit them shots, then I got the Wolves. And also Anthony Edwards. This is the second time that he has aggravated an ankle. He hurt it in the last series a little bit. He hurt it again now, so that's
Yeah, he
something.
hurt against the Lakers too. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So how's that ankle going? And then the bench and the back and the role players need to do their thing and make those shots. If that happens, I think the Wolves can win it. But it's
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
So real quick. I got the OKC Thunder winning this series. I probably got it by 5 or 6 games. I just think they're the better team, man. I think they're better. They're playing a better basketball right now. They're the better team. They have the best player. The only thing that I can say where the Wolves have a chance to win this series is if Anthony Edwards goes bonkers. If he averages like 30, 35 points, he gets people involved. He turns up clutch. Anthony
Mhm.
Edwards is going to have to take that next step this year. He's going to have to ascend into another player where he's like top tier, where he's on his LeBron, not necessarily LeBron's level, but he's on that level of um, this is my team and I'm top 3 in the league and I'm probably the best shooting guard in the league. Like I'm stepping into my prime type shit. That's where he's going to have to take. He's going to have to take this series to the point where he's playing at that level of I'm one of the best players in this league and you can't stop me. And he's going to have to average a certain amount of points. He's going to have to be efficient. And more importantly, the team that well, might not be more importantly, but just almost as important as AE going off is his teammates have to hit their shots. Because if AE goes off, they're going to double AE. They're going to double him, force the ball out of his hands, and that's going to leave his teammates open. But if they're not hitting their shots, it's going to be all for nothing. So that's the only way I see them winning this series. But OKC is the better team, and I got them winning. And probably I'm gonna give them 6. I'm gonna give them 6.
Mhm.
Real quick before we wrap up, let's go over and let me know who you think is winning this Indiana New York series overall. Who you got?
So score update. Indiana 74, Knicks 79.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those. Again, when I was riffing, uh, one WWE called it. All right, they called it. I don't know if you've seen the clips, but
Mm-hmm.
the two all stars from the prospective teams were both at a WWE event, and they did not face each other, but they were in the ring like facing each other.
Yeah.
So WWE called it about a month ago. But I just I got
Yeah.
too much respect for Halliburton, but more importantly, Myers Turner. I think
Yeah.
Turner is more consistent than Cat, and for me,
Yeah.
that's why I will give the edge to Indiana.
But I will say this is a toss up for me. This is a toss up series. Neither of these teams have been this far, and I don't know. Well, the Indiana Pacers were in the conference finals last year, I think, but
Yeah, they were.
um, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I think the depth. I think Indiana might have a slightly, um, more players depth wise, but top end players, New York has that one in the bag. Like they're starting. I think their starting five is a little bit better. I think they have players who um, can come up more clutch more often than Indiana, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, I think this is a toss up. I don't know who's going to win. Any of these teams can win. But I
Who's
will.
the three scores you got from the Knicks?
I got Brunson, Cat, and like you can throw in Josh Hart is a clutch player defensively, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
say the other guy they got over there, I forgot his name. He came over from the Nets. What's his name? He had that big play against the Celtics when he stole the ball from Jalen Brown to end the game.
Mm.
Um, he can score. He has a good mid range. Missing his name right now. Um, and they
Uh,
also have
Ananobi.
not even OG. I wasn't even thinking about OG, but OG is another one. It's the shooting, it's small forward. It's a small forward dude.
Oh,
Like they have
Bridges.
Miles Bridges, OG Ananobi, Brunson, and Cat. Those are their core guys. And then I think they have who else? They got Josh Hart starting, right? Josh Hart is the heart and soul.
Yeah.
He's the energy. He's the engine that makes everything going. And then they got all four of those guys can get their own shot off. You know, OG, Bridges, Brunson, Cat can all get their shot off. So I think their starting five is a little bit better than Indiana's, but Indiana's bench is deeper. So I don't know, man. This is one of them series that's kind of weird. But I also wanted to touch on base with what Lincoln said real quick before we hop up out of here. He was like, "Yeah, it's annoying in the playoffs. Dude can't be flopping like a fish in the postseason." I agree with this. I agree with this wholeheartedly. I don't like the flop, and that's probably the only thing on SGA
But
game.
you said that it was part of the game, just like
But it's part of the. That's what I was
oh,
going to get to. Listen, I was going to
okay,
get. It's part of the league. It's
yeah,
part of the league. They're allowing it. So if I'm playing the game, for it's two reasons why I can't be too mad at it, because if I'm playing the game and they're allowing me and they're allowing me to foul bait, why would I not get two free shots at the free throw line? And then it's a skill. Like it's so hard to be good at that. Like if 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 you're mad at it, why doesn't every player do it? You know what I'm saying?
a
It's
lot of
it's a
players
skill
do
to be able to, but they
it.
don't do it to the they
They
don't do
made
it
a
as well as
rule.
SGA.
They made a rule about it where if a ref thinks that you're flopping, I think they can charge it a foul, and if it happens again or whatever, it can lead to free throw shots.
So I don't think so. That's the thing, because let me rephrase. I don't think SJ necessarily flops. He foul baits. There's a difference. Flopping is when you're flopping, like you're exaggerating um the contact, or where there's no contact there. He's actually getting the contact. If you look at his fouls, he's baiting the player into fouling, and then he gets fouled and he throws the ball up for an and one or something like that. He like I can't say he's just flopping. Like most of the time when people flop, there's no contact or there's very marginal contact that doesn't warrant a foul.
Yeah,
These are fouls though. I can't lie. Like most of these are fouls. Like if you watch that game 7, like he got fouled. Did he bait him into fouling him? Yes. But it is what it is. And nigga said, no, he flops too. He does flop, but I mean, what player doesn't flop in the NBA? Jokic is the best player in the league, in my opinion. Flops top three. He's top three flopper.
and
Doncic is a top
where do you play SGA?
SGA is MVP this season, but I think right now the best player like remember LeBron stopped winning MVPs, he was still the best player in the league.
No, no,
Um
no. And flopping, where do you put him in top floppers? You put Joker top three.
Joker is top three flopper, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It
okay.
might be Joker. It might be Joker, Luca, and SGA. I can't. I might have it wrong. I'm not. I might not be thinking of all the players, but Luca is another big heavy flopper.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
huge flopper. If you watch Luca play, this dude be flopping all over the place. But he also has an offensive bag. I don't. It's a league problem. It's not a player problem. It's a league problem. And I don't
But
know
they
if they
have
can
rules,
actually
and
fix
I
this.
well, they have
The
a rule. I don't. I just don't know. Like the
the
refs
rule
need to
doesn't work if you're actually getting fouled, though. These players are
but I'm not,
flopping.
nah, he's not getting hit all the time. There was
They're
replays on there where he barely had contact. Like,
how you
not
going
not saying other times it wasn't, but
but
like,
how you going to call it? How you going to
come
call it
on
a
now.
flop and call it a? How are you going to enforce that rule if it looks like he actually got contacted? The refs are humans. They're not machines. They don't know. They're going on
No,
what they see. So it's hard to
yeah,
enforce
but like
that rule.
remember, I don't know if you were my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like were you able to watch the Houston Rockets against who was
The
I think was it
Warriors.
The Warriors, was it? Yeah.
this season.
They
Yeah,
that was they were letting them, yeah, in the playoffs. They were letting them be physical, right? And so like
yeah.
that's
It's
what
a
that's why I was Knicks against Detroit. They were letting them be physical. So like
it's a
that's
yeah. It's a
you
hard
know,
topic because it's the NBA has a real problem on their hands. It's a human
yeah.
error thing. You can't automate it. These referees are out there calling fouls that they actually look like fouls until you slow it down and be like, okay, that was a flop. They don't have the advantage of slowing it down in real time. The only time they can stop and
Why
look at
not?
it is
What?
unless it's
Oh, go ahead.
challenged. Unless it's challenged, they can go to the monitors. But they how many times coaches only get one or two challenges a game? You can't like if
Yeah.
you call a foul and it looks like a foul, but it plays back. We're watching it on TV. They're going to replay the foul. It's clearly not a foul. There's nothing they can do now unless someone challenges it. It's hard. Like SGA is great
Yeah.
at. First of all, like I said, he gets fouled. Now, does it warrant all that theatrical stuff on the back end? Probably not, but he's getting fouled. Both of these players are getting fouled, but they're exaggerating on top of it. The players that when you mentioned the series with the Knicks and the Pistons,
Detroit.
the
Mhm.
Rockets and the Warriors, they don't necessarily have players who exaggerate the foul like SGA does or Jokic does or Doncic does. So if you don't exaggerate the foul, the referee isn't going to call it as consistent. But that doesn't take away that it's a foul, is what I'm saying. So it's a dilemma that the NBA has, and I don't know if this might be the downfall of the NBA, but this has been going on for years. Kobe, when he was at his prime, he was one of the most foul baiting players in the league. Like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan used to go to the there was a there was
But like
when
nowadays
Michael Jordan but
it
wait,
looks like
when Jordan
soccer.
was playing and they had the dream team in Olympics, Magic and Larry Bird was playing with you can't touch them too hard, they're gonna call a foul. Like that was the thing when Jordan was playing. Jordan used to get a lot of foul calls too, if you watched him play. So it's always been part of the league. It's just now they've taken it to another level. These players have really implemented into part of their game. Like, I'm gonna take
Well,
advantage of the
back in the
whistle.
old, well, depending how far back, because like they were still allowed to be physical, and sure there was. I think like the baiting is where I would agree with you. Like they can bait the person into fouling them, but it's still a foul. Like now I see this, and I'm like, am I watching Neymar play for Barcelona back in the day, or am I watching a basketball game? Like so. And me being a defensive guy, whenever I played basketball, just pickup games and stuff, like I love defense, and
Yeah,
nothing would make me more upset than some floose person, weak ass person, you know, oh, that's a foul, bro. I barely hit you. And then on the next play, they're like, bumping into me. I'm like, is that not a foul? And they no, 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 that's like, come on, man. So
this is
body's
the
different, courts
like
are different, but like how
yeah,
and this is something that's happening in sports, and we
it's
can get into this later. They need to decide, or there needs to be a some kind of uh
there's nothing
balance
they can do,
between
honestly.
with replay and how it impacts the game. You see the NFL teams talk about it. You see it being talked about like each time after the playoff, they talk about how they can try to um, allow the people watching the replays or doing the replays, talk to the ref. Hey, that call was incorrect. This is what really
That's
happened.
that's good in theory,
How
but that's
far
too
do
hard
are
to
we are
do,
we willing to let that happen?
bro. That's too. I get what you're saying, but that's too hard to do. You can't slow the game down like that. Every foul call, you're going to be slowing it down to get word from people up top, like, "Hey, is that a foul or not?" Like, that's too much. The league is just it's hard to kind of fix this issue because I think they need to make a rule change to the fouls. There needs to be clear, like they need to put some wording in there where there's clear and concise, without a doubt, contact where you get a foul call. So that means any ticky, they need to go back to the hand checking. They need to just let it be more physical. You need to be able to hand check. You need to be able to do the little small marginal contact because now you're calling these ticky tack fouls, and it looks like it was a foul in real time, and it's like the refs are getting cheated or tricked, and it's like the fact, like how many times have you watched the NBA game where you was like, oh yeah, that's a foul, and then they replay it, and you was like, nah, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul.
You mean
Or,
this?
or you was
You
like,
mean
bro, that was a foul. And they didn't call it and they replay it. It was like, oh, that wasn't a foul or it was a foul. Like it's too hard to make that in real time. And you don't want to slow the game down every foul call because then it's going to get hard to watch. So
you're
the
right. Yeah.
biggest thing that I think they should do is just go back to how it was in the 90s and 80s, where you can hand check and you can be physical. And the only time you call a foul is if it's a clear foul and it looks like a foul. Not if it was a maybe. If it could have been a foul or it looks like a foul, don't call it. It has to be you see the foul for sure.
If
And
you
it,
look at the play and you're like, oh, that's a Draymond Green type of play, it should be called, or a Dylan Brooks type of play.
Mhm.
then yeah, that's a foul. But I get what you're saying. I'm
Yeah,
with
it's
you.
just hard, bro. It's
I'm with
hard.
you on
Like
that.
the NBA is faced with a challenge right now because they're losing
Yeah,
viewers as well. So we'll see. It's gonna be
yeah.
interesting to see what they look like in the years to come.
I just want to
Um,
let you know, real quick before we go. There's a soccer World Cup happening this summer,
mhm.
where like all the clubs from all over the world are being put into a kind of like a tournament style kind of thing. So that's going to be something that's interesting. Like MLS teams are going to be going up against European teams, teams from Argentina, Brazil, all over the world, like the clubs all facing each other. And this is the first
Yeah,
time FIFA is doing it. So it'll be something to keep an eye on because during the summer, it can get long when I was trying to talk about sports. So uh, highly encourage you to look into it. I'll send you some stuff, and then that way you
okay.
can maybe pick a team and we can follow it too.
All right, bro. I got to get up out of here, but man, it was a
All
pleasure
right,
talking
man.
to you. I will see you
Let's see how
next
the rest
week.
of this game goes. Everyone have a good day. Oh wait,
All
what
right,
does
y'all.
Lincoln say? He said they need to bring the European rest. They don't call that weak stuff. That's true. That's true. All right, y'all.
Yeah, it makes you question if
Peace.
the NBA pushing an agenda. Like it's kind of crazy,
Be
but
careful now. You're going into deep
they
waters
about
now, sir. You're
to.
going what? Did we land on the moon? I don't
It's
know.
oh my goodness. I wish like that's why NFL will always be king, man. NFL will always be the king sport in America because it's so clear cut. Like football is just it's more clear cut than a lot of these other sports. It's
Yeah,
it's either he caught it or he did catch it. It's either his foot was in bounds or it wasn't in bounds. The only thing I will say about football is though the holding and shit, like the holding and the illegal hands and the pass interference, that shit can get wacky
I'm
too. But
glad. I'm
that's
glad you said it. Yeah,
but it's too hard in professional sports to get every call right, bro. At some point, you just got to either make your shot, make the pass, make the touchdown, make the field goal, and leave. Don't leave it up to the like the. We can blame the refs on that Timberwolves game, but you saw how bad the Timberwolves shot. You saw how
yeah,
bad
yeah,
Denver
yeah.
shot in
No,
that game 7. Like we can blame the refs and say, hey, but Timberwolves played the OKC 4 times this season, and they average more fouls over those 4 games. So we can
as a
blame the refs, but the fouls, the amount of fouls that are called are even almost.
mm,
So I don't know, man.
as a friend once said to me, he said the refs have an impact, but for you to be in the position that you were in, there's a lot of factors that played into that, and you already laid it out. We've already laid it out, missing
Hmm.
right shots and all of that. So the refs, they at most, refs should always ever get like 30% of the blame for any game. The rest of it, it's on the team. You put yourself in that position, it's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
man.
All right, y'all,
Peace.
man. Peace out.